Somerville. Well, it's about to be winter at the time of this review, damn, but what better time to settle in with a cinematic puzzle platformer, right? Developer Jumpship is hoping you'll make that game Somerville this winter, a story-rich sci-fi experience where you and your family find yourself caught dead center in the middle of an alien invasion. Yes, after a seemingly normal night of watching TV with the family, your nameless lead character loses his family amongst the chaos of alien blasts and abductions. It's a great setup and will set you off on a greater adventure to reunite with your wife and child. You'll need to travel a now ruined world that's still under attack, sifting through vast landscapes, train tracks, and caverns, all while solving various puzzles. Even though the introduction to this game is quite grandiose, and Somerville does offer thrilling moments, the narrative becomes disjointed, particularly towards the end. Because there is no dialogue between characters or voice acting, Somerville relies heavily on its imagery and atmosphere in an attempt to keep players invested. Unfortunately, this is one of those titles that gets a little too artsy-fartsy in my opinion, culminating in an ending consisting of head-scratching moments that offered little to no payoff considering the struggles I went through just to get to that point. The act of playing Somerville can also be just as headache-inducing. There isn't much to the controls. You can interact with objects, pull the analog stick in different directions while interacting, which is a little bit janky, and well, you can do a lot of walking or jogging, I guess. This experience is painfully slow at times, to the point where I audibly yelled at my screen for my character to hurry the F up. Some of the scenarios are insanely dangerous, and yet our lead can barely muster a jog, and for a game that I completed in under 5 hours, boy did it feel longer. It doesn't help that every action feels unnatural and clunky. This game feels longer than a midsummer day. The other mechanic you'll come across is being able to change the physical state of some parts of your environment with alien technology, like Thanos' gauntlet, but without the snapping. This state-shifting ability is performed using the back triggers. I would tell you the keyboard inputs for this ability, but alas, there is no keyboard support for this game. Some of these environmental puzzles are interesting at first, but too often Somerville goes back to the well. This isn't helped by the fact that your character can often get stuck on the environment, especially troublesome in chase scenes, of which there are quite a few. And did I mention the other glitches? Some of these puzzles outright broke on me, and interactive points are not labeled, so you can't always tell you're able to grab onto something or manipulate it. I was stuck in one cave for so long that I almost performed a rage quit on this game entirely, only to discover I could climb a certain wall, a mechanic that really wasn't a part of the game up to that point. You gotta be kidding me. I understand they want to make this game feel cinematic and maybe didn't want all these different button prompts on the screen, but come on, it's not feeling cinematic anyways because it breaks so often. It's unfortunate because in a few puzzles you experience moments of brilliance. For example, one puzzle involved lowering a hook, and in order to fasten it into place, I needed to change the environmental state at just the right moment. However, glimpses of excellence like this make the duller moments even more disappointing. Too many times the solution involved powering an electrical device with either left or right trigger and lacked the creativity of the aforementioned puzzle. As is a theme throughout Somerville, it's a game that loves to self-sabotage. Frame rate hitches were common and break the immersion. Key characters disappear entirely during what would otherwise be dramatic moments. It all adds up to a game that really could have benefited from another pass-through before release. We did receive one patch during our time with the game. I played the majority of this title after that patch, but given the current state of things still, I suspect there's going to be more. For every somber set piece, often gorgeous, a frame rate hit would steal the moment. The beautiful yet sparse piano, also the victim of a glitchy backdrop that can't seem to hold itself together. Somerville was not unplayable. I was able to get through the game, but it did manage to test my patience, and it did a great disservice to itself by getting in its own way more often than not. And considering I crushed the recommended specs, it's clear this title needed more time in the oven. Even though I didn't have the best of times with Somerville, I recognize there are some positives here. I love the initial premise. The visual design is really captivating, and that soundtrack, which I just touched on, is a wondrous achievement, even though I could have used a little bit more piano here or there. Somerville was directed by Chris Olsen and built with the help of former CEO of Playdead, Dino Patti, who helped to bring us really incredible titles like Limbo and Inside. It's a shame then that Somerville simply lives in the shadows of those games. While it so desperately wants to appeal to that same audience, when you try too hard to be like something that already exists, you ultimately fail. Somerville is a confused product that will not leave you in wonderment as to what transpired. It unfortunately all kind of felt like a big waste of time. Thank you so much for supporting clickbait-free independent content here at 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐬. Consider hitting the subscribe button below and helping us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. There are also memberships. If you hit the join button, you can join our amazing Discord community and so much more. Let's defeat the gaming echo chamber together.